Hey, what's going on? It's Greg with Lift Fitness. I'm coming at you some beautiful workout finishers. Now, workout finishers, what are they? It's basically kind of like the high-intensity interval training that we often do. However, it's designed to be done at the end of a workout. You can do it after a long rest. You can do it after your heavy workouts, which is typically when it is done after a strength training bout, so after your ISTs. Or even your SPTs, but it's all about cramming out as much work as you can in a short amount of time. Now, different part of this compared to your typical intervals or your typical Tabatas is it's typically done in only about 5 to 15 minutes. So it's a whole lot smaller. It is not the entirety of the workout. It is all about the metabolic rate. It's all about getting that metabolism screaming, and it's done very, very quickly. So this is also something really good to do if you are really short on time. You don't even have enough time for one of your 20, 25-minute Tabatas workouts. So this is beautiful. So again, your workout finishers, 5 to 10 minutes, very, very cool stuff. And I'm going to explain just a little bit about the different kinds of workout finishers and the main kind of focuses that you have here. It's all outlined. Now, before we get into that, workout finishers are not for everyone. It's definitely tough. And just like all the most things out there, unlike dark chocolate, delicious, and episodes of Family Guy, it should be done in moderation. So you don't want to do it every time. You need to give yourself a little bit of rest because in between uses, so give it no less than 24 hours, and definitely even longer, a couple days. So really use in moderation. Don't do it after every workout, or else you're going to burn yourself out. And it's going to lead to an overuse injury. So you do want to be careful. Just like with a Tabatas, it's done in spurts. So if you did that stuff over and over and over again, you are probably getting hurt. All right, so that being said, it's great because it's going to improve so many things just all across the board. Your VO2 max, which just means essentially your heart is a whole lot stronger. You've got the capabilities of endurance, but it's really, really short bursts. So you're not doing a 12-hour run or even the more logical hour-long runs. What you're doing is you're really building up that heart rate, or not the heart rate, but the strength, the cardiovascular system, which is very, very important. You're able to draw in more oxygen into the lungs with each breath, which means you have that endurance. You're also building up lots and lots of great strength. And it's just all across the board, pretty much awesome. So again, here's your workout finishers. They're basically set up in reps for time. This is how we typically do it. So the time base is what our Tabatas is typically done. So we'll go ahead and start right there. It's good and quick. The big one is a 20-10. Now 20-10, you can do that. I often prescribe it as 8 sets. You usually do 1 or 2 different exercises. I usually do 1 when I'm prescribing this as a finisher. So you do 1 exercise, you'll just do 20 seconds of it, 10 seconds of rest. You're going to do that 8 times, but it's the same exercise over and over and over. Now you can do that a little bit longer because this is only going to be about 4 minutes. You can go a little bit heavier so you can hit the ideal 5 to 15, or you can do this 2 or 3 times to get well within that range. But this is the basic one as far as Tabatas goes, and it is can be used as a workout finisher. Your next one is a good one we rarely do in our training, but it's a 60-60 continuous. And something like this, you'll typically use 2 different exercises. So you'll spend 60 seconds, 60 seconds, 60 seconds, 60 seconds. You'll go for as long as you can handle until you just totally are just done. So an example would be like upper body and lower body. It's typically how you want to split it up when you're doing a workout finisher. So a great setup might be a sprint or a band sprint. What I like, because I don't like to move too far, I like to use our workouts in a small space. I don't have a whole lot of room, so I'll tie a band to it, to an anchor, and I'll just jog in place or sprint in place or move it front to back. So I'm hitting lower body. Another good one is pull squats. Tends to get a lot of lower and back. And then another one would be set up like an upper, like a presser. So you want lower and upper is a possible option. So sprints and then like a band press or push-ups. Band press or push-ups. So lower upper split, that is absolutely a viable way that you would set up one of your workouts. If you have 3, what you might do is a lower and a core and an upper. So lower core, upper. So again, you're divvying it up so that you're not hitting the same muscle over and over and over again. Again, that would lead to overuse injury. So very, very quick. Lower, core, and upper, or lower and upper if that's the case. So we'll write that lower, upper. You can also go a presser and a puller. Now, your presser is going to be your chest presses, your overhead presses. Your press is going to be a squat. as well. Your pullers are going to be a deadlift. Your pullers are going to be rows. Your pullers are going to be chin-ups and the like. All right, so pullers, we want deadlift, we want your rows and chin-ups. So any kind of a row, if it ends with row, it's a puller. Chin up is another one. Pressers, chest press, overhead press. So push-up is also a chest press, your overhead press, and then finishing all up with your squat is a presser as well. So that's typically how you'll divvy it up. Again, if you have 3, then you'll throw in a core. If you have 4, then what I would do is lower, upper, or a presser, puller, something along that. But you won't usually get into 4 exercises. The whole goal of a workout finisher is to be simple and to just provide a totally kick-butt workout in minimal time. So very, very efficient with your time to get that metabolism strength. So these are the way that you would set it up. These are typically what I'd recommend and work with my clients for when it's a time-based workout finisher. Now, going on reps, we did have a whole lot more variety with this. And this is where I really like to have fun with it because you can go so crazy with it. This is very constrained. It's very within the rules. You hit it. If you're not hitting it, you've got to keep going. Don't stop until you can. Right? Here, we have a little bit more variety, a little bit more fun. So a ladder is a really, really common one. Now, a ladder would start with 1 rep. This is typically done with 2 or more exercises. I often do this with 3, but to keep it with simplicity purposes, let's go back to our push-up exercise and our sprint. Push-up and sprint. These are going to be our 2 exercises. So we will do 1 rep of a push-up, so 1 push-up, and then go immediately into 1 sprint. And that would be, if we're doing a sprint, you might set that as time-based, so like 5 seconds of sprint would be 1 repetition. Or if you're actually moving front to back, that would be 10 feet, and then and back. So you might backpedal if that's the case. So 1 push-up, 1 sprint. And then you go to 2. 2 push-ups, 2 sprints, out there and back, out there and back. Or 2 times 5 seconds for a rep would be 10 seconds. Then you go 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way up to 10 until you're doing 10 push-ups and 10 times that sprint. You do the math, you're actually doing 100 reps. So it really loads it up. If you're really crazy, then you start descending as well. So you can do the ascending, and then you can do the descending, which starts at 10 reps and goes down to 1. I prefer the ascending because it really loads up the heavy rep at the very end, and I like that big challenge, that big push. Or you can go both, which is ascending, descending. You're going to build from 1 all the way to 10, and then bring it back down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then you're hitting about 190 reps. It's freaking awesome. And that's per exercise. It will light you up. This will take about 10 minutes, maybe a touch longer, depending. So plus or minus a little bit. So your ladders, those are beautiful, beautiful progressions. You can do that. Sets, your rest, pause. So basically you have a set number of sets that you want to hit. I want to hit 10 sets of this. You're not thinking so much about reps. You're just going to go until you can't go anymore. For example, let's do a overhead press or a squat press because it hits both. We can do 1 exercise that's very compact. I'll give you the exercises to do, but we'll say push press. So you're squatting down, push it up overhead. So you got dumbbells, boom, boom, boom. So we're going to go with whatever weight we've got. Maybe it's heavy, maybe it's light. We're going to go until we can't go anymore. So ideally, probably a little bit heavier is going to be a little bit better for this one. I'll explain a little bit more for your finishers, but we hit, let's say 25. We're able to crank out 25, and then we can't go anymore. So we pause. We pause for as long as we can, up until no longer than about 30 seconds. And then we go again until failure. And then again pause, and then we go until failure. So first set we hit 25. Second set we may be hitting like 15. And let's say our goal sets is 10. So there's 2 sets there. Next set we're going to hit maybe 10. After that we're hitting like 8s, 7s, and then 6s, and 6s, and 6s, and 6s, and then we hit 5 for the final set. So you're not hitting nearly as many reps, but you are nailing lots and lots of sets. And you're just taking about 30 seconds of rest in between each set to keep it going. So sets are a rest pause setup. Weight focus. I love these because the reps, again, you're going to have high reps, but the focus and the change that the variable we're changing is the resistance here. So we're changing the number of reps here. We are changing the number or the amount of resistance here. So this is really important. You got to have lots of weights for this in this case. So let's say we're doing Perfect one. Let's go back to that push press setup. Let's start it all off with 25s. We're going for burnouts. Now, burnout is you're gonna, or run the rack. It's called both. You're gonna start with those 25s. You're gonna do as many as you can. Let's say we hit those 25, and our shoulders are shot. We're tired. We put the weight down. We immediately pick up the next pair of weights. So that would go 25s down to 20s typically, and do as many of those. When you are tired, you can't do anymore. Oh man! And form is starting to suffer. You put that down. Grab a lighter weight. Up and down, until you get at least 4 for the big major muscle groups, which are the chest, the backs, the quads, and the booty, or maybe a little bit less, 3 if it's a smaller one. If you're doing something for like curls and just trying to get a good pump, then only about 3. But you can go as much as the entire rack. So you start, if you're going for 12s, start with 12s, you go 12s, 10s, 8s, 5s, and if they have a 2 or 3, you'll do that. And this is great because you will light it up. Even with like 2 pounds, you're like, oh, I can't push it up anymore. You get a great pump. It's beautiful, and it encourages so much growth hormone, which is phenomenal to help boost a little bit more muscle tone, muscle growth. So it's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful setup. So I really love burnouts and run the racks, which are synonymous. So your reps and your times, that's what we got going on. This is the way it's typically set up, so you kind of know all about that. Your 60-60s or 20-10s, 8 circuits at least, if not longer, and very, very little rest in between it. Now, I should mention, again, don't do this too frequently, because when you start getting really, really tired, you're going to get fatigued, and fatigue is going to predispose you to injury, because your form is going to suffer. Your push presses move from here to this. Right? So really be careful about that. Stop and be smart on your workout finishers, but push yourself, keeping good form. This is great with lift.